Africa, as we have been made to know. MCDAN is a Ghanaian man. In other words, he comes from Accra. He could also be coming from Adan, as he told the people.
Nipa ashase efe na wie ye na ya na nsem ne die bebre na abusua enei na ntia yeti ene se wode wani kire mu ewo Mr. Daniel Macaulay adodo na anim se efe no MCDAN group MCDAN group of companies ne dia wode executive chief officer CEO edema MCDAN group of companies no no benya MCDAN shipping company MCDAN aviation and MCDAN logistics enei no ntia free black sheriff akache ede eba ene se papa ene ya make say die why yare for allegedly wa paralyze ya enye asem ketwa da busua sane yare esifa eba ye sane yare ni esifa eko ede enenu situation a eyodi monyamfo eye MCDAN a ne dia na busuani ede man na say ye frɛ no eye Daniel Macaulay owo mu no ani eye nyan members of the casa ebe tentena me pese meto social media ne so no me pese wo beka mu ne boere mu e wo black rasta na kache wo brain no or reveal the real secret of MCDAN sabio ene paralyze ya wa paralyze e wo eye busua wo mu ahokire wo komu ene sabio sane ahemfo mu bi omo ada ani age na yeba ensem do na wa herba be somo ewo afidikesie so she me say aha fresh gossip gh medikin aka se news update enkan so da eye kroje etwagu ewa be fontita afidikesie so no eno anasona ka ekire adwakru metina sia me sane mu ema wonso wonsa etimika bi na hu de eko ene dia eba. Let's move straight to a black rasta na kacho brain no o make some big expose edifa eye MCDAN CEO edema MCDAN shipping company MCDAN aviation and MCDAN logistics ewo Ghana nearby yeden sanudo na ebetwa also.
Is he on a business trip, or he has just decided to stay away from prying eyes? These are the questions people of Adan are asking. First and foremost, who is MCDAN? This is MCDAN, Dr. Macaulay. Now, he's a businessman. He owns private jets. That's an enterprise known as private jet at our airport right here in Accra. And he's a man who has gone through turbulent times to be able to rise to this level. MCDAN is his name. He has a lot of lovers and at the same time a lot of haters. He is the boss of Sh0ck. And when we talk about Sh0ck, what are we talking about? It's the biggest salt mine in the whole of Africa, as we have been made to know. MCDAN is a Ghanaian man. In other words, he comes from Accra. He could also be coming from Adan, as he told the people. And he represents the Kole, aka the eagle, as his totem. He's been quite controversial in the past. Many people believe that he uses his influence to be able to get what he wants from politicians. There was a time, oh yes, the Trade Fair Center was in a big turmoil and MCDAN was fingered in all directions as the perpetrator of that act of indecency. His name is MCDAN. For some time now, he's been out of the business. He's been quiet, at least for some 1 month. I decided to find out exactly what is happening to MCDAN. Once in a while, I speak to him. Once in a while, he calls me and I call him too. He calls me brother after our differences. And I love it when people call me brother. He has been installed as a chief in the northern region of Ghana. He's a man who is also into some philanthropic activities. Can I cut all this short and go into the story? Come here, my youth. You think a joke. My God have mercy. Now hear this. My brother, my sister. I went all the way to Adan, and what did I see? Something shocked me. The chiefs were jubilating. Why were they jubilating? They said MCDAN came using government power, political power, to steal their salt land from them. We're talking about the Kole Lagoon. This is the sweetest salt you can find in the world. Over. And this salt here is spiritual. We have told the history of this salt over and over. But to suffice it, give me just 30 seconds to run it through. Watch this. Now, this salt was discovered by an ancestor from the Tekebiawe clan of Adan. And he was called Nene Kole. The first. Nene Kole, my brother, my sister, was the one who went hunting. And when he shot at an animal, the animal was able to resist the bullet and ran into the bush. He chased this animal, hoping that it would die from the bullet wounds. But when he got into the densest part of the forest, he saw a woman sitting there. He said, I am the animal you shot. And I intentionally brought you here to direct you to look at this. And when Nene Kole raised his head, he saw salt all over the place, whitish substance. And he said, do you know what this is? Taste it. He tasted it, and this is the area. And he said, well, it tastes funny, but it is nice. He said, this shall become very, very important to your livelihood. This is for your people. He gave him a number of rules to follow, one of which will suffice this conversation right now. Do never let anybody monopolize the sword. Come here, my youth. Watch this. You know what happened? Nene Kole decided that he would let everybody get to know about the salt and that they should never stop anybody. No race, no tribe, anybody could go in and harvest the salt. It was for everybody. There are some other rules which we will not go into. But at the end of the day, MCDAN had food monopoly according to the people of Adan. He had the support of some chiefs. And then, when I went there to do my research, some of the chiefs, including Libiwono, who is supposed to be the priest of the lagoon, you know what they did? They were pouring libation and enchanting, and also calling upon the gods to strike MCDAN. I didn't like the spectacle because the kind of hate I saw in the eyes of the chiefs. And they claimed that MCDAN was there to rob them of their property, traditional property. Well, some of the chiefs supported him, but there were some who didn't. Now, as it stands, it looks like a lot of the chiefs have gone away from MCDAN. For what reason, I do not know. There has been so much violence in the area. Some people have been killed. But remember, this is not the first time somebody is being killed because of the salt. You remember in the days of Maggie? How many of us remember Maggie? Maggie, my brother, my sister, was shot and killed. Margaret Kuon. We've told this story over and over. The president at the time, J.J. Rawlings, had to fly in an helicopter and go all the way to the place to be able to bring peace to the area. It was at that point people were stopped from harvesting salt from the area, whilst a Cuban specialist group was brought in to look at the long-term solution to the salt issue. And you know what happened? The Cubans came out with their verdicts. Under no circumstances should the whole salt project, spanning several acreages of pure white gold, aka salt, under no circumstance should that be monopolized by anybody as contained in the traditional scripts of the Adan people. But MCDAN had political will, and he also had the money, and according to him, he meant well for the people. He did a lot for the people and wanted to do more. In fact, the salt that is being harvested from the area has never been harvested anywhere around Africa and beyond. And MCDAN believes that his business with the salt will provide Ghana with more resources, cash, than the gold and the cocoa that we are over-relying on. Is this true? Is it false? May I go deeper into the story? Come here, my youths. Watch me. Now, the interesting thing is this, and I always need you to listen. Some people have not been happy with MCDAN. They claim he's a bully. So they have gone underground to pray, consult their gods. And when I arrived in Adan, only yesterday, they told me that MCDAN is paralyzed. That the gods have struck him. I asked them for a proof. And you know what they said? They said they had their Asafutu festival. MCDAN was supposed to come there. They had built a beautiful stool for him as a son of the area. And as tradition demands. But he never appeared there. He was supposed to also sit in a palanquin. The palanquin was empty. The stool was empty. And when they checked from the gods responded that he had been struck. And he's paralyzed. How true is this? This is the information I have from the people of Adan. So, as a journalist, what do? I decided to place a call to MCDAN. Come here. Watch this. I placed a call to MCDAN. Number 1, no response. Number 2, no response. The third and final call also went unresponded to. This is very unusual of MCDAN. Even if he's outside the country on business, he will quickly send me a message and say, yo, Black Rasta, I'll get back to you. I decided to speak to some people close to MCDAN, and all they told me was that MCDAN will be present when he is needed. MCDAN is all right. Nothing is wrong with him. Well, I want to pray that it's all right. I do not want anybody to lose their lives because of salt. I believe every disagreement can be sorted out. And I went back to the chiefs of Adan.
Abusuansem we bi anene no air trend e wa be fontinta fidikesi so aso na ka chire adwakrom me de esomo adabo roofing sheet ana osoya sin medican aka se wo pe roofing sheet papa fie dia eni adabo roofing sheet akache ana mekanfo area ma kuma se omo ehwa overseas in Krempokwa station Omukrabata kese ne de ewo eye mokpa infensi ubetimi akọ adabo roofing sheet akache na ne omo edi ensawoso se ne beya adanse hu ne papa wo pe na wonso dan etime gina brana no sa etime akabran saka bibia ba beda aso na ka chiri adwakrom mase sanse wiaso we no adepa aneto ne ho na adepa we ane nya adajeje bre ebo ho daru bi de se ni na asi makra
eba enchansen papa e de bodan so pa dia eno ane adabo roofings enraste resist heat and afi and some feeding so na ni premium color materials or the border so nti oma warranty more rishimu so wo pe adabo roofings e wo kuma se ne mpatamu a fo ani kire ehwa overseas junction e wo enkran ene ne mpatamu so odi wani be kire Pokuasi station wa na ni main factory de e wo fancy a eben mupa fre adabo na ne wo mu ni dwa esan se fa enchansen papa e de border so pa de a o mu ni kenkon obi ani ho